This one's a longer video. It's like 40 minutes right here. So shit. I got my drink. I got my bud. Shit. We chilling right now. We gonna watch this movie.
Is she okay?
You see where she's hit at?
No, it's on the side of her head. They're saying she's pregnant too. Take a deep breath.
This woman was just informed that her daughter, Tiara Harris, was shot in a gang-related incident and is in
Damn.
critical condition.
The hell she even doing around gang shit? That's the real question.
Her boyfriend rushed her to the hospital, but sadly, it was already too late.
Oh,
And the worst
damn,
part,
already?
Tiara had nothing to
Video
do with
just
the
started.
shootout. She was an innocent bystander. A simple mix-up left an innocent, pregnant mother of two dead, her children now motherless, and her family
Pregnant
absolutely
mother of
heartbroken.
two?
The police now face a grueling investigation. However, with everyone involved supposedly being gang members, catching the killers would prove to be much harder than anything they'd done before.
Damn.
We've been in touch
This is gonna
with
be a good
Yolanda,
one.
the mother featured in this video,
Well, not a good one,
and are
'cause,
proud to
you
share
know,
that half of the video's profits
type of
will be
video,
donated
but-
to the Akron-based charity First Glance Student Center. At 7:29 p.m. on April 14th, Akron Police Department would
Just say
receive
30,
multiple
dog.
calls reporting
Say
dozens
30.
of gunshots being fired out of 1492 Rockaway Street. Witnesses would describe what seemed like a gang-related shooting with multiple cars speeding away from the scene, one being a silver four-door Chevy. Police managed to quickly track down the Chevy, following it as the driver sped across back roads in Akron. However, the Chevy wasn't actually running from the cops. It instead would pull over somewhere that concerned the cops even more. The hospital.
There's someone in the car still.
Hey, hold up. 5807. 5807.
Oh
Go ahead
shit.
and shut the car off.
The car shot up.
Shut the car off. Shut the car off here. Go ahead and put your hands on top of your head, alright? Nope. Hands on top of
The
your
hell
head.
did he do?
Step up. Step up.
Act like he's threatening you. Come on, Mr.
Step
Police.
back here to the back of the car.
You
Go ahead and
tripping.
put your hands behind your back.
With the incident being reported as a gang-related shootout, police would assume the man driving the Chevy to be a gang member, meaning he would be very unlikely to talk to them. So instead, they decide to stop him in the back of a patrol car for later interrogation. As this was going on, dozens of additional 911 calls would ring in, witnesses would arrive at the Akron Police Department to give their testimonies, and more cars would arrive at the hospital. Most importantly, though, 4 miles away, a young woman would be placed in an ambulance under critical condition with a bullet wound to her head.
How she end up over
Turns
there?
out all of this would be connected to a large group of reckless shooters. It's at this point that we need to step in. This is one of the most complex and mysterious cases we've ever covered. So we need to break down some details first in order for you to fully understand the case itself and how well the police handled every single step of solving it. At 7:22
They be
p.m.,
taking
a car
time to put
arrived
these
at
videos
1492
together.
Rockaway Street carrying a number of people who
That's
started
crazy.
hanging out with some friends on the side of the road. This group included Javier Small, Lanier Worthy, and Jonte Smith. Everything seemed fine until 7:29 p.m. A black vehicle reversed into the street carrying Tiara Harris and her boyfriend George.
Oh,
her boyfriend
shit.
recognized some of the people on the sidewalk and wanted to back up and say hi to them.
Nah.
At that very moment, on the other end of the street, 3 men emerged from an unrelated vehicle and started
What
firing
the
bullets.
fuck? What the fuck? Look at him up the hill. Look at him up the hill.
These men
All
were
of y'all
Snyder
dipped without the
Saunders,
whip?
17-year-old Anthony Whitaker and Darrell
Y'all
Rackler,
panicked and
all
dipped
affiliated
without
with
the whip?
gang BBM, a notoriously violent gang active in Akron at the time. There was also the driver of the car, Jeremiah Williams.
Man,
Their
you supposed
shots
to bust
scattered the group
and
on the sidewalk,
hop back
with
in the
everyone
whip,
running for cover.
hop back in the
In
stolo,
panic,
take off.
Jonte and Javier drew their guns and began to shoot back. bullets went back and forth, and everyone went into a panic as they realized their lives were at risk and a bullet could strike them at any moment. Seconds later, the dust settled, and the BBM members Zaire, Antonil, and Darion fled the scene. However, a grueling silence would ring throughout the street as Tiara's boyfriend, George, realized Tiara was the sole victim of the shooting. With BBM splitting up and running in different directions, George flooring it to the hospital, and everyone on the sidewalk either heading inside or preparing to head to the hospital too, cops would begin the grueling task of figuring out what just happened, and who, ultimately, was the one that fired the killing shot. Now that you understand exactly what happened, we can join the police as they try to figure out what just went down and how to solve the developing mystery. Remember that all the cops have received at this point is a phone call alerting them to the shooting, and a description of the silver Chevy they've just pulled a gang member from.
There's another victim that says...
Why you gotta say
we don't
gang member,
know where that victim's gonna go. There's a possibility that victim may be deceased.
Yeah, they got shot. Okay. Someone's got to go check, probably.
Two of the officers ran over to the front of the hospital and discovered Javier Small and his girlfriend in complete distress.
So one female died, one female got shot in the leg.
He can't go into the room because she got to go to get checked out.
None of the dudes got hit. Like,
as it turns out, another girl was also hit in the shooting, that being this man's girlfriend. Luckily, she was only shot in the leg, but he was still extremely distraught and horrified about the whole incident.
Bro, I'm on house arrest. I gotta go. I gotta go to the hospital. Come on, bro. I gotta go to the house with my girl, bro.
We'll get you. I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna come back. I'll tell you how
I just got in the car. I just don't know. I don't know, bro. I just got shot, bro. No.
Despite how distraught this guy is, he was a passenger in the Chevy, which they just found multiple firearms inside of, so police promptly arrested him.
Hey, Palpy, we'll take him over here.
Across town, however,
wait, what?
there's
He got
someone
arrested?
in a much worse position. Tiara Harris,
What the fuck?
passenger in the black car.
Can I open that up?
I'm trying to.
They're saying she's pregnant too.
Okay.
How pregnant is she?
Yes.
How far along?
2 weeks pregnant.
Okay.
she gone?
Maybe 2.
Yeah.
She was pregnant?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
44, is there anything flying around? I think
Am I allowed to ride in the car with her though?
Why he not like... My ass would be crying.
She just got shot.
My baby mama died,
just
like,
in the car,
what?
Just driving down the street in Kenworth, driving from over there, and they just was shooting. None of the glass broke, but she wasn't like moving or talking.
No, dog,
So
they
blood-
was
the
shooting
blood
at
started
you.
dripping from her head, like, bro, we see in the hospital, the ambulance, like, I can't even talk right
Y'all
now, bro.
females be
Tiara
careful,
was immediately
man.
rushed to the local hospital, and her boyfriend
Be
George was brought in
careful
for
who
questioning.
you fuck with, cause
He wasn't a lead suspect, but police did find it odd that he just happened to arrive at the site of a violent shooting right as it all went down. He would claim to be innocent and actually provide a detailed description of everything that went down that night.
You turn off here, so
No, boom, no, I didn't. I came this way, and I said, "What y'all got? Like, what y'all got going on over here?" Like, I'm like basically saying, "Is y'all good?"
Right.
As soon as I said that, somebody from down here got to just shooting a gun that just kept shooting. That's all I know. But I didn't see. I didn't hear nobody.
so you're right there, and then you heard that. How many shots did you hear?
Man, I can't even recall. It was a lot. And then as soon as I
So
said
you were facing this way?
no,
You literally backed all the way on
Say I'm coming down here in this rock way. Like this would be Rockaway.
Okay.
Down, I backed up.
Oh, so you back? So the back of your car was facing that way?
And I'm like, is y'all? I'm like, what y'all got going on? Like, I look out just like that.
Like out the window?
Like, as soon as I even like, it should have been me. Like, you feel me? Because I'm the one that looked straight out the window. Like, are y'all all right? Y'all
No,
good?
dead ass.
The cops
They
asked
ain't
him
got no
why he
aim.
was
They
even
was
there in the
just
first place, to which he
shooting
just
that
said
hoe, like-
he knew a couple of people on the street and that he had absolutely no involvement in the shooting. He's claiming that when he peeked out the window, his friends mistook him for the shooter and began to fire bullet after bullet directly at his vehicle. According to him, it wasn't an accident, but a misunderstanding, making the whole situation even more tragic. With George's statement, they were a
Isn't an
little
accident
clearer
a
on the whole
misunderstanding?
situation. But they'd made no
Nah, not
progress
really.
into actually
Let me
solving
shut
the
up.
case or tracking down the real perpetrators. That was until they returned to the scene and spoke to a number of witnesses who had watched the entire event take place.
It was two African Americans.
Cheers.
Where were they running? Young kids. They come from back there across this backyard next door and out the driveway.
They hopped the fence. Or?
He had a face mask on and had a 9mm.
Y'all
and
tripping.
The other one had a semi-automatic rifle.
Damn.
Almost to the corner of the house, running this way, and they both jumped the fence. Like when the kid in the hoodie jumped the maroon hoodie jumped the fence, he dropped the semi-automatic rifle in the driveway.
I was just out back cutting some stuff, and all I heard was just
Cutting some
barrage of bullets, fully auto. It wasn't 3-round burst, 4-round. It was fully auto. Coming off fast. Oh yeah, hot and loud and fast. And then I saw two guys when I was out back. I could see through the backyards, through the fence. I saw a silhouette of two guys running up towards that street, returning single shots as they were running away.
There's casings up here. Yeah.
I got more.
Okay.
How many did you hear, you think?
It was like 30.
Like where all these cones are at, probably that amount?
30 or 40. This happened over there all the time.
Where's over there?
Right there, the house right there.
I heard a lot of gunfire, but when I first heard it, I thought it was a backfire because I saw this car sitting over here where all the cones are. He had his lights on. So I thought he was working on a car that backfired real bad. Then I saw them loading people into cars to take them to the hospital, and I knew it wasn't, because this has happened so many times before. I don't know what we're supposed to do. We can't go outside, nothing.
Even with all this new information, though, the cops are only slightly closer to figuring out what happened. They were now at least able to confirm that one group of shooters rolled up and started the exchange before another responded, causing a huge exchange of bullets throughout the neighborhood. But they still had two major questions. Who were the shooters, and how was Tiara involved? Well, the cops had just spotted another witness that might be able to answer their questions. A woman who was actually on the street the moment the bullets started flying.
Damn.
So you don't live here?
I'm not even from here. Oh, I was visiting.
So who owns the house?
Anitra Johnson.
She is? Okay.
She was out to eat when I called her.
Okay. Everyone's okay though, right? The kids?
The kids, yes.
Yeah,
the kids are okay. I got them in the back watching TV.
Okay.
There was another girl outside. I think she got shot in the thigh or the leg. I think they took her probably to the hospital.
Okay.
She definitely got hit.
Okay. So what did you see?
I'm sitting outside. To be honest, we all family. So we're all outside prayer wrestling, like act like we hit each other and stuff. Next thing I know, I just heard these gunshots. I'm like, all right, was that a BB gun? Come through shooting.
Yeah.
And it was like pow, 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 and came through again. So I'm running up, I didn't even know where the gunshots came from. I'm running up, trying to grab the kids. They came through twice.
Okay. Did the house get hit at all?
I mean, I don't even fucking. Is that a ball right here? I don't know. I was really just trying to grab the kids.
And you said it, so what? They got out of a car?
They didn't even get out of the car.
Or they just started. They were hanging out.
They was hanging out shooting.
Okay. Did you see how many by chance? Three of them. Okay.
Now it's starting to sound a lot more like a drive-by shooting. Notoriously one of the hardest types of crimes to solve, especially if the vehicle was stolen. The cops are starting to lose confidence that they'll ever find Tiara's killer, but then they decide to ask one simple question.
Ma'am, do those cameras work?
I believe so. Okay. She's on her way home.
Oh, she is? Okay.
On their ass.
There were CCTV cameras on the property,
ass.
and as soon as the homeowner got back, they'd have access to the footage. So in just a few hours,
Hey,
the
my
cops
cousin
were able
used
to
to
put
have a
together
jacket like
just
that.
enough footage to understand exactly what happened. Remember, we already know all of this, but for the police, this was huge. Now they had a detailed timeline of the entire incident, including at what time it went down, how many people were involved, and which vehicles the suspects used. This would be very useful in the coming interrogations in terms of verifying their suspects' claims and pressuring them to confess. Police finally had a solid piece of evidence, and right as their case had started to build some substance, their biggest lead yet would step out right in front of them.
What happened? Oh!
I can put it on an SD card.
And that's not the same one that was at
She'll send her a link and then she can just upload it from there.
Right after they took off.
She
Not only
recorded
had they
it.
seen the entire thing go down, but as soon
Look
as
at
they
him.
heard gunshots, they
Big
started
ass
recording.
chopper.
They managed to get this clear footage of a man getting into the same vehicle spotted at the shooting just minutes earlier.
Damn.
Now all they needed to do was track down the car using the visible license plate, and they'd have their first lead suspect. But with that said, these kids were no strangers to running from the police, and the officers would begin the hunt to find these evil teens.
Oh my god.
While all of this was going on, police had another, perhaps more nerve-wracking situation to handle. Tiara had passed away, and her family had no idea.
There's currently not like too many people in the hospital. Let's step over here, see where all these cruises are.
My car okay?
Where's your car at?
I'm right here because I didn't
one
know.
or this one?
Right here.
She says, my car okay?
What's your daughter's name? You're here for your daughter?
Tiara Harris.
Her daughter got hit. She worried about my car okay.
Say, have me stand
Is
right
that
here
what she
next to the
said?
sign.
Hold
I'll
on,
have
let
to
me-
go over and talk to you, okay? Take a
Let
deep
me make
breath.
sure.
Let's step over here, see where all these cruises are.
My car okay? I'm
Where's
right
your car
here.
at?
I'm right here because I
This
didn't
one
know.
or this one?
Right here.
Okay, sorry. Okay. What's your
Nah, I heard it
daughter's
right.
name? You're here for your daughter?
Tiara Harris.
Kiara Harris. Say, have me stand right here next to the sign, and we'll have someone go over and talk to you, okay? Take a deep breath.
Is she okay?
I don't know the names of who they are currently, miss.
Just listen to the cop's tone here.
Damn, I
He
can't
knows
imagine
just
that
how
feeling.
bad things are looking for Tiara. And
She got a whole
he
pack of
absolutely
cools.
doesn't want to break that news to her mother
I'd have
yet.
probably been on the same
especially
thing.
when he sees just how emotional she's starting to get. Tiara's autopsy showed a single bullet struck her in the head and remained there. While tragic, this information would allow police to
No.
identify the exact bullet type and then gun used to shoot Tiara. If they could find the owner of this gun, they would be able to match it to the bullet, and justice could be served for Tiara and her family.
Hey, come here.
They got a bunch of people showing
That's
up.
my son and my nephew.
Okay, well, listen, they can't go in. It's going to be you.
Y'all go in the
Nah,
car. Go in
bro.
the car.
They telling us to wait outside.
I know. I'm going in. Go in my car.
The entire family is in distress, with her mom shaking and doing everything she can to stay strong in front of her kids. It's truly a nightmare situation, and it only got worse from there.
I would have been pissed
At around
off.
8:30 p.m., they were
Mad as
informed
hell.
that Tiara didn't make it. A bullet to the back of the
Damn.
head had ended her life, sending her family into complete grief and agony.
That's so
Now
fucking
police
sad.
knew that they absolutely had to catch the people that did this to Tiara, or risk letting down her and her entire family. At this point, police had 6 different suspects on the run, all tied to the shooting, and they would eventually manage to track down and get interrogations with all of them. Their start came in the form of a Facebook post by someone named Jeremiah Williams, described as a member of the BBM gang.
Let me
Apparently,
find
the
out
post
his
consisted of
dumbass.
him
I mean, I'm
bragging
glad they
about
got
being at the
caught. Don't
shooting
get me
and
wrong, but let me
escaping
find
without
out his
getting caught.
dumbass went
By
on
using
social
his
media and
Facebook
started
profile,
bragging about
they'd
shit.
find his address and pick him up for interrogation. With Jeremiah also being a supposed gang member, he too would prove to be extremely difficult to break. However, by using expert methods, police would actually get him to break completely, to the point where he actually started to cry.
A wannabe gangster and a snitch.
Yeah, that's true. How's it going, Jeremiah? Sorry for the wait, man. I'm Detective Smith. This is Detective Davis. Nice to meet you. Alright, and so the reason why we have you sitting here talking to us is we need you to think back to April. There's an incident that happened on Rockaway. You remember this? This young lady got shot. You remember hearing about that? Mm-hmm. Okay, so during our investigation,
yeah, he did it.
Do you know about where you were that day, if you can? Or
I was definitely at home.
Apparently, Jeremiah also has an alibi.
Lying
and he gives
ass.
multiple names over that'll attest he wasn't on Rockaway that night.
You're at home. Yeah. Where was that at Amherst?
Amherst. This was right before my mom moved to Louisiana. My best friend Rob talked to her sister, the girl that died. Her sister Diane or however you say her name. My best friend Rob was like in the kind of little
like dating.
Yeah, with her sister. And it was crazy. We got on Facebook and it was all over Facebook. Her sister had got killed and stuff. And my mom was like, ain't that the girl that came over here the other day? And we like, no, that was her little sister.
Has her little sister reached out to you guys or anything?
We haven't talked to her, and I mean, I haven't talked
I wonder why.
to her at all for real, but.
So you were at your house on Amherst?
Yeah.
Was there anyone with you that day?
My mom.
What's your mom's name?
My mom's name is April.
However, the detectives know this to be untrue. They know he was at the scene from the Facebook post he made. They know he did it, so they want to get a confession, or even better, some information that might help put more people in handcuffs. The thing is, they're initially going to find that a lot harder than they'd hope.
I have to ask, do you recognize this car?
Dude, this was the car that was in that video. That's on Facebook.
So you remember it? Yeah. Have you ever been in this car?
No.
You know?
Nah, you've been in that car.
I don't know him by like name, but I know who he is. His name like Pa or something.
Pa.
He lying, but it's just like
describe him?
We know that already. He kind of lying pretty good to the, you know. He not really folding yet. Talking about I'm at home. I ain't never been in that way.
Right. Tell me a little bit about yourself, your past. Like, have you ever been in trouble or anything?
I'm sure they know he bullshitting though.
Actually, right now, I got probation.
So, like, just a weapons possession charge is all you got?
It's like carrying a concealed firearm in a motor vehicle.
Gotcha, yeah.
Jeremiah is making a conscious attempt to give as little information over as possible while still trying to seem cooperative. He's smart. He doesn't want to completely close himself off, as that'll make him seem guilty, but he also doesn't want to give up any vital information. The cops ask him who was there, where he was sitting in the car, even questions about the guns, but he refuses to speak, and he's starting to seriously frustrate the cops. But all this talk of courts
stayed like
and
that.
investigations
Stay silent,
doesn't seem
you know.
to be getting them anywhere at all. So instead, they switch gears. They're going to be as direct as possible and give it to him straight. That's their last hope at getting him to crack.
What do your friends call you? Do you have a nickname or anything?
Jay.
We're just getting to know you, man.
Right.
Obviously, you can see that you're not a bad person. Just the
Yeah, he is. That is a bad person. A bad person.
Out of this incident. You being honest with us is what we'll be able to work with you. We know that you were there, and we also got your DNA in that car.
If I'd been in that car, I would tell you guys I've been in that car. I don't have no reason to lie.
No, you wouldn't have.
To put myself in
If you was in that car, you would not tell the police you was in that car.
Really, what we're looking for is why.
Said if I was in that car, I would have told you.
You explaining your actions and what really went down is just going to help with your role in this. We know you didn't pull the trigger, but you not being honest with what went down is not going to help.
Probably did. You don't even know
The
that.
prosecutor and the judge and jury are going to look at someone who's not remorseful.
Drove over there and they started shooting.
Snitch.
So they told you to drive over to Rockaway?
Yeah.
I mean, actually, you know what? I'm glad they all got caught. Y'all are all stupid.
He was sitting behind me and then Pa sitting on the door.
It worked. The cops actually got a name. It was a nickname, but cops could eventually tie this back to a man named Zaire Saunders.
His big ass shouldn't even be out there trying to be shooting at people and running away.
Gotten a gangster
You ain't
to tell
getting
on
far.
one of his partners, but they weren't done yet. They knew
probably
they
the
still had
driver.
more information, and they weren't going to stop putting on the pressure now.
we got to go back to who was in the car with you. I know you know Zebo. Pa, you say you just know him by Pa. Do you know his real name? Okay.
Yeah, you
and
do.
The third person, you're saying how often have you seen him? Would you be able to
all the time?
That last person by a picture?
They ain't gonna do a drill together. They ain't be with each other all the time.
Physically looks defeated. He's
like,
avoiding eye contact and is likely never saw himself giving up the names of his partners, but that's exactly where he found himself. The cops, however, are over the moon, even managing to get descriptions of the people he
If I was an investigator, bro,
they ask a few more questions before leaving him alone.
I would have
to
knew
prepare
he
their next
bullshitting.
move.
Like,
however, on their return, they didn't expect to see Jeremiah, a once tough and unbreakable gang member, to cry because of what he'd done.
now he gonna cry.
Would you say his first name was what?
Now he gonna cry.
Is this
like,
do you want some tissue, man?
You did all this shit.
I need a purple, yes or no.
And now you gonna cry?
Yeah. Let me get it.
If this is the first time you've seen a gang member cry, you're certainly not alone. But it actually happened again in the detective's very next interrogation.
And the homie
While
cried.
these cops were busy talking to Jeremiah,
It's not the first time I
breakthrough had
seen
been made outside of the
a
interrogation
gang member
room.
cry.
Remember
I
this
guess.
footage recorded by a
Shit.
civilian witness earlier? Well, after 5 days of investigation, they
I'm not
actually
no
managed to track
gang
the car
member.
down, enabling them to take in another suspect.
Never claim
Antonil
that
Whitaker. Police would quickly realize that Antonil might be even more important than Jeremiah as a suspect. He's a supposed member of the BBM
We
gang,
find out he the other
and
one that
believed to
cries.
be one of the suspects that initiated the shootout. The thing is, he's just
Look at
17
him,
years
2
old.
bags of chips.
Since
Shit,
there's
I would've
still
been
some
like,
information even Jeremiah couldn't give them,
give me some.
they figured they might be able to scare
Give me
him
some Raisin
into giving up
Cane's.
everything he knows.
And
their first
shit,
idea is
I'ma
an
eat that hoe,
unconventional but
and I
possibly
still ain't gonna
extremely
say
effective
shit.
method.
They just gonna
A
feed
call
you.
home to mom.
This is really, really serious now. You need to put yourself wherever you was and get to telling with your part as much as you can. Cause
That's his mom?
You can't take the blame for this, and this was not you. You shouldn't be sitting there. They know it's
His
your
mom
fault.
making him
You
cry?
can't get out of that. You better than this.
Antonil doesn't even seem to feel like following his mother's advice. Despite the fact
He
that
gonna
they
have to
know
tell
it
his
was
mama
his
that he
car,
dumb.
he's claiming that someone else was actually driving it that day. And even more unfortunately, he'd forgotten exactly who. Listen to his story and see if you believe it as much as the detectives do.
I'm not gonna believe shit. Off of that alone.
No, wait. Like the whole day? Someone took your car somehow, brought your car back, gave you the keys back or whatever, and then so you could take your sister home. That doesn't make sense, man. You know a jury, you know a judge. They're not. I'll be honest with you. I mean, it's not, what you're giving is not even a good statement. It's not even a good lie. That's why it'd probably be easier for you to tell the truth.
You see, about an hour
Put
after
him
the
on that
shooting,
lie detector shit.
Antonil
He
was
don't even
confirmed
pass
to have
that.
used his car to pick his sister up from an event, meaning it was clear that he was still in possession of it. But that didn't faze Antonil, and despite how many questions police asked him, he refused to give up anything.
How this works, you might already know this from TV, but I mean it's kind of accurate. We're going to compare your DNA to the DNA on the shell casings that we collected on scene. Is there any reason your DNA is going to be on there? Because if there is, you've got to explain that.
Lying his ass off. He don't even believe that.
Who got in the car with you at all? If you're saying your DNA is not going to be on those shell casings, right? And you're saying you weren't driving, who did you let drive your car? Believe it.
I don't know what's
But right now it looks like it's on you.
They're trying to force a confession out of him by telling him that if he'd been in physical contact with any of the evidence tied to the murder, they would find out and he would get sentenced. And they're not lying either. When you touch anything at all, you leave behind skin cells, sweat, small hairs, or even oils that can quickly be traced back to you. Meaning,
I mean,
if
I ain't
Antonio
telling
had
y'all,
touched the car, the
you
bullets
know,
when loading his gun,
do
or
shit. I'm
anything
just
else
saying.
related to the murder, police would
Anybody
find out.
smart would.
However, as of now,
Like,
detectives haven't had the time to run these
don't
tests
own
to
no gun,
confirm
you
if
don't even
his
know
DNA was
anything
present,
about it.
meaning they couldn't pressure him to a confession, and they'd have to wait until later. So in the meantime,
You gonna be
they
in
move their
this
attention to
situation.
the next suspect. Remember the man Jeremiah gave up to the cops back in his interrogation? That was Zaire Saunders. Once they had his name, they tracked him down and arrested him. And he would prove to be even more helpful than Antoniel and Jeremiah combined.
Did you know of or hear about that young lady who got killed?
He already on ankle monitor. God
No,
damn.
we don't think that
They gonna find
she
him
was
there,
the one meant to
right?
be hurt. And I mean, based on what
Unless
we're
he
seeing.
just got on that.
But unfortunately, she did get obviously hurt. Her family's hurt. You know, when we did that search warrant, we got your phone.
Yes.
Okay. And we downloaded your phone. And your location is putting you on Rockaway that day. Nope.
Over with.
What
Over
happened
with.
that day?
I shot a pistol. You shot a pistol? Yes.
This seems like a breakthrough. He's just admitted to being a part of the shooting, and it seems that all the detectives' work has just paid off. But they're not quite there yet. Of the 3 shooters, 2 did indeed use pistols, but one of them was actually yielding the extremely dangerous automatic rifle that can be seen clear as day in this footage here. Instead of jumping this fence after the shooting, the man with the rifle fled directly down Rockaway Street, and that's the direction
Nah, that's his
Zaire's
big ass
phone
running right
shows
there.
him running. The good news is, that clears Zaire of being the man that killed Tiara. After all,
Yeah,
she
nah.
was killed with a very
The
specific
dude with the
pistol
chopper
round.
ran down the
But that
street.
does put him directly in the spotlight of
He
being
was
the
the
man
second
with the
one
most
to run
dangerous
towards the
weapon,
houses.
and one that is directly lying to the cops right now. And they're not about to let him get away with that.
Yeah,
I
video
think.
evidence. You're on camera shooting a rifle.
Oh.
Pistol that
Never mind.
rifle round?
My bad. I get shit wrong sometimes.
Does it have a stock on it? Like something kind of modified type thing?
No, I didn't have a stock on it. So describe it then.
He said I shot a pistol.
That single piece
Like
of
that's
information
supposed to make it any
resulted
better.
in Zaire actually getting the highest sentence out of anybody involved in the case. Just the use of such a dangerous firearm actually increased his prison time by somewhere between 10 and 15 years.
Wow.
But he still doesn't know
He
that yet.
wow.
He's still under the guise that if he helps the detectives out, he might get a better deal. So not only did he tell them where to find the rifle he used,
Damn.
he also gave
That
up one of the
rifle
most
pretty
vital
clean
pieces
too,
of
though.
information the cops had received in the entire case.
The group BBM. I just know they call it BBM. For real. BBM. Yeah.
Zaire just told the cops the name of the gang that was involved. A huge piece of information that will help them track down every last individual that was part of this attack. Now the detectives have just
Fuck
one
it.
more
Arrest
final
everybody.
question that'll hopefully
Arrest
put
them
together
all.
the final pieces of the puzzle they're looking for.
You've been extremely helpful throughout this whole.
Put me as fucking mayor of wherever they at or president and shit. Arrest them all.
They just around.
Take them all off
Just
the
say,
street.
"Those my dudes." But you got different dudes, and you got different. Like that's how they is. Well, like they ain't say it right then and there. They said it on Facebook, like. But it was like I knew they was talking on me. They just didn't say it directly to me, but I knew they was talking on me.
He just gave up the group chat where all of these shootings supposedly were planned. With this, police simply had to cross-reference the names in the group chat with the supposed
And
shooters
it's
on the
premeditated.
CCTV, and the names that had been mentioned in previous interrogations, giving them enough evidence to sentence all 6 of the shooters.
Like,
But
god
unfortunately,
damn.
this wasn't the resolution they'd hoped for. After examining all the weapons confiscated, it would turn out that none of them were a match to the bullet found in Tiara's head, meaning they still couldn't tie any specific person to the actual murder. However, there is one puzzle piece we haven't told you about yet. The one that
It
would
wasn't
solve
any of them
this
that
case. Watching the CCTV
I mean, they
footage,
still goofy
it's
as
clear
hell,
that
but
there is
like
one man that directly shot at Tiara's vehicle. If you follow this man, dressed in all black, back through the CCTV, you can trace him all the way back to the driver's seat of this black truck. A black truck that, until now, the cops were completely unable to identify. But
What
then
the fuck?
they received one final piece of footage from a witness, allowing them to track it back to the owner, 44-year-old mother, Kia Brown. Police realized they had to interview her, knowing that whoever was driving Kia's black truck that day killed Tiara Harris.
Hey, how you doing, ma'am? Good. I'm Detective Smith.
Whoa, what the fuck?
Please. Hey, we wanted to talk to you or whoever is driving, whoever drives this truck, reference that incident that happened up the street. They were being shot at. Finally trying to catch up with them. Looked like a couple males. And have you heard about this?
I heard about what happened on the corner.
Bro, how do they not see, like...
It wasn't Kia, but her son driving the car that night. And after running his name, they'd find out he had ties to a rival gang of BBM. So the detectives had Kia call her son and hand over the phone to the officers.
I have some detectives here right now. The day that we were
Y'all are listening,
the
right?
incident that happened around the corner. They would like to speak with you. Do you have a moment? Can you go on break?
How you doing, man?
How you doing?
Good. I'm Detective Smith. I'm with Detective Davis with me. Hey, what's your name before we get started, bud?
Lanier Worthy.
Lanier. All right, Lanier. How you doing, man?
Linear Worthy.
So listen, man, I won't keep too much of your time. We were wondering if we could talk with you and your mom maybe in person at some point, and we wanted to talk to you about that incident that happened up the street. We know you're over there, so we were hoping you could help us, actually. You're not in any trouble. We're actually hoping you could help us. Would there be a good day
You
for
say
you
you
to-
not in any trouble.
Yeah, Sunday.
Boy,
8th,
the
we can do
police
that
calling
anytime
you
after
on your
2:30.
damn cell phone, you in
Okay.
trouble or something.
All right, man. We appreciate it. We'll see you at 3:30. All right, buddy. Bye.
And just like that, they had an interview scheduled. And this was the final suspect at the scene that they hadn't yet spoken to. The man suspected to be the driver of the black truck and the man they think shot Tiara.
Damn.
Dad, how you doing? What's up, man? Appreciate you talking with us. So, I mean, obviously, you know why we're here. About that incident that happened on the street. So, we just wanted to know your perspective. That happened that day. What'd you see? That type of stuff. But you kind of run us through that day?
I was standing in the driveway on my phone.
Mm-hmm.
Then I heard shots. I got down, ducked. Then when the shots stopped, I heard I ran to the car.
When the shots started happening, you ran and got in the driver's seat. And then Teen got in your passenger seat. Right? Okay.
That was it. Lanier had just told them he was driving the black truck that day, confirming he was the man in all black that drove the truck and hopped in the Chevy. He was the man that fired the bullets. So they decided to ask him up front.
I'm about to ask you something, man. I'm about to ask you from your parents. I'm sorry, but I gotta ask. Did you shoot that day?
They ain't... Hold up. They ain't see that the first time that they reviewed the footage and like... They was just looking at the 3 men that was hopping out of the whip. The other time, there was another guy who hopped out that truck shooting at them too. Ran to the car and hopped in that one.
Even though he said no, police already had all the evidence they needed. The car tied to him, his ties to the rival gang, and finally the video of him shooting at Tiara's car. So they arrested him on the spot and brought him in for interrogation.
What's up, man?
I'm over here thinking it's the other 3, you know, dumbasses. Like,
man. I'm not here to. Okay. Are you saying you want your lawyer? You don't want to talk? Yeah. Okay. All right.
But in the end, this wouldn't matter.
At
as
the
when
end, they
arrested
all
and
bogus as
processed him,
hell.
They managed to confiscate his gun.
Just
and after analyzing the forensics
slow,
of the bullet
like-
inside of Tiara and Lenier's gun, it was a match. Lanier had fired the killing shot.
Goofy.
After 5 months of investigation, all the puzzle pieces were finally in place. In total, 7 people were charged in this incident. Zaire Saunders was charged with involuntary manslaughter and 4 counts of felonious assault and was sentenced to 35 to 40 years. Antonil Whitaker and Jeremiah Williams got 22 to 24 years on similar charges, while the 4th assailant in this group, Darion Rackley, got 34 to 40 years. It was confirmed Antonil's DNA was in fact found on various bullet casings on Rockaway Street, despite his claims in the interrogation room. The next 2 to be sentenced were the ones who shot back at Zaire's group after being rolled up on. They were Javier Small and Jonte Smith, who were sentenced to 4 years and 2.5 years respectively. Lastly was Linier Worthy, Tiara's actual killer. However, as of this video's upload, he's still awaiting sentencing. Tiara and George were not involved in any of the gangs in the shootout and were found completely innocent. At long last, Tiara and her family could finally be at peace.
Oh my God.
Half of our profits in this video will be donated to the Akron-based charity First
That
Glance
shit crazy
Student
to me.
to help prevent incidents like this from happening again. The second half will go towards the making of our
They
next
all
video.
just like